Hi everybody, this is Myer Media. I'm your host, John Myer. Today we're talking about enhancing security posture management and how ISIP address today's top CISO's challenges. Well, I'm here with David Nguyen, who is the founder of MAKO IT. David, first time in person, you and I, so happy to have you on,
See you,
brother,
brother.
man. This is definitely a pleasure.
Absolutely. No, thanks for having me again. It's really fun. Confirm you're a real guy. You know, we've been friends for 3+ years here, and we're like, hey, is the Matrix
not-
playing with us? No, we're real people. So
I'm not AI, man. I promise you that, or at least they would design something better. But David, what is your role at MAKO IT
for sure.
besides the founder, man?
yeah, well, clearly I'm the founder. I founded my own company, and we are a qualitative boutique reseller. We offer cybersecurity services to our customers as well. And you know, the impetus for creating this company came from 15+ years being in the industry, the tech industry, selling multiple technologies with you as well in our past lives. And you know, just wanted to do some work that was more qualitative, something that felt good, and you know, obviously makes a good living as well. You know, so here we are, founded my own company called MAKO IT Consulting. I do have a partner involved as well. He can join us today. But yeah, we're having a good time with it, and we're just getting out there and talking to as many people as we can.
David, I like the name, by the way, that you did for it. I really want to talk more about some of the top challenges for CISOs that's out there, because obviously you created this company to solve a problem.
Sure.
What are these problems?
Yeah, so when you talk about security teams or CISOs, Chief Information Security Officers, I think table stakes are things like protecting data, right? Not letting data breaches happen, obviously. But there are some other concerns out there that some of these CISOs are talking to us about. And they come from a variety of different verticals, like some from healthcare, different concerns in retail, different concerns than financial services. And so just generally speaking, like I had lunch with a CISO recently who was CISO at a large retail firm. And you know, we were kind of just having a good chat and talking about things like data. Where is the data residing in-house today? How is it managed? Kind of what are the retention policies? Does the legal team have access to it? Things like that. And he made a comment to me. It's like, this is all good stuff, but when you start asking these kind of questions, most CISOs get a little squirmy.
What are you trying to do with this information?
Yeah, well, they don't necessarily have a clean answer, right? And each CISO will be a little bit different, right, in their response to that. So those are some of the things that we're hearing today. And so I think security posture management is something at the forefront that we're focused on, that we're trying to help these CISOs and security teams with.
David, I think one of the biggest questions that any company are going to have, you're asking these questions from an outside source, is like, why can't I solve this internally?
Yeah, I think they can to a degree, right? But I think it was the great Thomas Powell said, there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs. So the trade-off with that is you're going to bring in a lot of different tools, a lot of SaaS tools, cloud tools. Do you need to hire people to manage these things? Do you staff augment it? A lot of questions to be answered, right? A lot of potential monies to be found, budget that you got to find internally, you got to sell it internally as well. So it can be done, but maybe that's a little too cumbersome for some organizations. And so from an outside, fresh perspective like MAKO IT, we can provide that ability where we can go in and look at your SaaS and your cloud applications and give you a good visual representation of your asset inventory and help you identify where the misconfigurations are. There's a good stat out there with Gartner. Gartner indicated by 2025, 99% of most cloud breaches will be because of simple misconfigurations, right? So, I hear something, and there's other things that out there that kind of justify this as well. But when we hear something like that, that's where we're like, okay, so how do we help them, right? So that's kind of why we're working towards the security posture management solution that we have.
I think what you're doing is you're giving an honest outside view of their security, of their infrastructure, how things look for them. When you ask internally, there's always that apprehensive of giving a vague answer, or, yeah, we're secure, or they think they're secure. Yeah. They think this is good. And in reality is, I didn't check, or I didn't check it, or you know what, you don't trust me type deal. And when you needed an objective view.
Yeah, a little bit of that, maybe they don't want to admit it either, because that's somebody's job potentially, right?
That's exactly, I misconfigured, I left that open, or you know what, it was easier just to give full access because I need to get my work done.
Yeah, even the NSA kind of confirms that misconfigurations are probably the biggest reasons why organizations will have data breaches, right? So to your point, a third-party objective view into this, it's black and white. We just look at the data, right? If we're given the opportunity to scan your environment from a read-only perspective, then we can establish a baseline on day 1, do a scan, let's say in 2 weeks or in day 30. We can just look at data, strictly data. That's it, and then we can make those decisions at that time.
David, if I'm looking at MAKO IT and I say, okay, you guys can do this, what does that engagement look like from my perspective? And how do we get this started, really?
Yeah, for sure. So most customers are going to kick things off with a POC or a proof of concept or a proof of value, whoever you talk to. From our perspective, read only. We're not going into anyone's environment and changing anything or managing anything. It's a view only, read only. So what we'll do is we'll read only on day 1 what all your SaaS applications are, your cloud applications are, and then we'll do a day 30 scan as well and look at the delta between the two. So during that time, we'll have the ability to inspect your entire SaaS and cloud environment, give you a big view of what you have, detect any risks with high probability and accuracy of what that risk is, and that said, the next step is to prioritize, kind of look at things from a code red, orange, yellow, white perspective, right? And to take a step further, remediation guidance, right? Once you prioritize everything, start knocking those things out, start making some tweaks and configure the things correctly, right? And lastly, we can also provide reporting, right? And whether it's through us at our consulting, direct services, or we can connect to something like ServiceNow, and then you can kind of get those updated reports as well. So,
what are some of the top organizations that actually can benefit from this?
Well, honestly, at the end of the day, any mid-market, really anybody, SMB, mid-market, enterprise, but what we're seeing with cloud data breaches, there are 3 verticals that are getting hit the most. One is healthcare, second is financial services, the third is manufacturing. But outside of that, anyone is a potential target for data breaches, right? So, because there are nefarious actors out there in the world, we all know that, and they're not going to stop, right? They're going to continue to do what they do until they get what they want.
You're talking about some of the top ones that do it, and you're releasing a new feature or service offering for you.
Yeah. So basically, I've been talking about it already. It's called the Integrated Security Intelligence Platform, or ISIP, is what we're calling it at MAKO IT, and it does just that. It's going to we're going to be offering a security service where we can inspect, detect, prioritize, remediate guidance, and also do some reporting for our customers. And really, organizations of any size that we can help out with. So the big value add is you're going to have excellent security visibility into your environment. You're going to reduce risk within your environment. You're also going to have some operational efficiency as well. And so we feel like it's very beneficial. And lastly, most CISOs out there and most IT folks out there, they want things for the cheap. We are very price competitive to any other tools that are cobbled together, if you will, because that's the alternative. As kind of mentioned earlier, you got to hire people, you got to get the right tools, you got to get a lot of stuff going. That's big cost, right? And that's all in-house. You don't necessarily have to have that with us. We can provide the service and the reporting at a very aggressive cost.
How soon from implementation to realization when going with MAKO IT so I can see the services in effect?
Yeah, we do 30-day POCs with folks, but if they're hungry to see the differences, do a day 1 scan, we can do a second week scan, and then the 30 days, right? And 9 times out of 10, we're seeing something that's misconfigured, and we can help them.
What's the value between your new service offering and tools that are already out there that I can immediately buy?
Yeah, it's a big space, right? And so, again, I think it goes back to vetting out a lot of different tools. You have to go through POCs with all these different vendors, and if, the pricing can be a little kludgy, a lot of vendors will charge kind of in a more complex way. They can't cleanly tell you how much they're going to charge you on a monthly basis or an annual basis. With us, it's purely based on active users, right? So if you have 5,000 employees in your environment and we do a contract for 5,000 employees and then the following month only 4,000 were active on that platform, then you get charged for the 4,000, right? So it's very clean, very simple.
That's easy to determine what my costs are going to be.
Exactly.
And the most you'll ever do is the 5,000, but you could always do less.
Yeah, exactly. And it allows you to budget for the future, right? I mean, everybody has to do budgets every year, right?
David, before I wrap up this important discussion, before we get to some fun discussion, what's
sure.
next for you in MAKO IT?
Yeah, we're still in build phase, and we're just getting our message out there. Partnerships like Myer is incredible. It helps the little guy a lot. And we are here for the long haul. We're building qualitative relationships. We're here to build a long game. Because as you remember, on the other side of the fence, as vendors, sellers, we live and die every 90 days. We don't do that at MAKO IT, right? So.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, now that we got the really tough topic out of the thing, how about them birds?
Oh boy. Well, yeah. Let's reference.
So,
back.
folks, we're going to transition over to more of a NFL type. Yeah. David and I are huge NFL fans. David's a Raiders fan, and I'm an Eagles fan. We have nothing against each other. We talk all the time about that. I'm going to let you jump in there.
Oh man. So look. So we talked about the NFL season before the season started, right?
Yep.
You made a bold prediction. It didn't work out as well.
Oh, no, I made 2, 17-0 and 15-2, and I'm still in
Oh,
there.
that's right. You're still in it.
I'm still in this one.
Well, the fact of the matter is your team is still great. Saquon Barkley spinning 180, jumping over people backwards is just insane. Like, how does a guy do that?
70-plus-yard touchdowns,
Yeah, you guys are looking great. So you're still happy with your team. Me being a Raiders fan is the most unhealthiest relationship in my life, and it will continue into my elder years. At this point, the Raiders being 2 wins and 10 losses, it's tank season. Let's just go get that #1 pick, get a new quarterback like Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward at this point, and hopefully it turns around next year.
I thought they were going to have it against the Chiefs, man. I thought they were just like, I was sitting there rooting, and like, how did they let Mahomes run 20-plus yards down for, and in the last few, what was it, a minute left or something?
Yeah, less than a minute. It's, it was a very competitive game. The Raiders were in it, ready to win, almost ready to kick a field goal, right? 15 seconds left. Somebody got a call. Here we are in Vegas. A phone call was made, and a botched play happened.
Not making the spread, guys. You got to.
That's right. It was tough to watch. All the Raiders games are tough to watch, but as a glutton for punishment, I continue to watch them. So.
I saw a rumor that and it was a rumor because he disclaimed or whatever it is. Max Crosby, coming over to the Eagles or something like that.
Eagles or Lions? He's a Michigan guy, right? Yeah, so he played at Eastern Michigan, and when Aiden Hutchinson for the Lions went down,
yep,
there were a lot of buzz. They're like, hey, maybe we'll trade for him. And I was worried that they would trade for him.
I saw when BG went down, Brendan Graham, they're like, oh, Max Crosby.
Yeah, I know. We would get the Raiders would get a nice bounty from that, right? Maybe a couple first-round picks or something.
He's not going anywhere. He said something, he's like, you see my tattoo, right?
Yeah, he's got a Raiders tattoo.
Yeah,
he's pretty committed.
Well, if he's not, he's got some work to do at least on that. I was rooting for them. Obviously, nothing against. I wanted to see them go.
Yeah.
When was it their last,
made the playoffs in 2016 and then went to the Super Bowl in 2002. So there's been a lot of losing and revolving doors at quarterbacks and coaching.
The Eagles and the Raiders in '81.
Yeah.
The championship, they weren't called Las Vegas Raiders.
It was another L.
Yeah.
L-A.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was going to go there. But all right, let me talk to you. We're here, week 13 now or something, and we'll try to get this recording out shortly afterwards. I got to ask you what your prediction is for now the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this earlier on. I don't even remember what it was. So
Well, I was calling the Lions against possibly the Chiefs, and I still think they're on a collision course. But then your Eagles are looking pretty good too. So
they're competing right now for the bye week. They're hanging in there. They need everything. So the Lions look really good. Dan Campbell's got them firing, and they're owning it.
They look great.
I like him as a coach, man. He's like a dog out there. He's like ready to go, and they're definitely doing good. But
I like the Bills too. The Bills.
Dude, their game last night, Snow Bowl. No offense to the 49ers.
Yeah.
That little shovel pass from Amari Cooper to
that was pretty good.
And he runs in for
Josh
17.
Allen. Yeah. What a stud.
He's like Superman to it.
Yeah.
Did you see McCaffrey? Probably what was it? PCL or something.
PCL injury. That's a rare injury, a PCL. You normally hear ACL or MCL.
ACL, MCL.
But PCL, not so much. So, I think he was just rehabbing too hard, and he's just working his ligaments too hard.
I think he probably should have taken the season off or fixed it, what he did, and but he wanted to come back. They all did. I'm a little upset he's on my fantasy league.
Well, he was probably your #1 pick then,
He
right?
was too.
There you go.
Yeah, and I held on to him like Pachenko, and
Yeah.
he finally came back. Like, come on, think about this.
Yeah. No, the way he went down with no contact, you knew it was bad, right?
Yeah, well, those are actually the worst I heard, and no contact's actually
Yeah.
worse because there's nothing really,
Yeah, couldn't cut, couldn't give.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
All right, so are you still thinking the Lions and the Chiefs, or?
I like the Lions. I like the Eagles too. So I'd rather not see the Chiefs there again. So I'm gonna go Bills. Bills versus Eagles or Bills versus Lions.
All right, I'm changing my Eagles are going in. I've obviously, no matter what, I've got to go to their side. I'm thinking 2 PA teams, Steelers, Eagles.
Oh, bold.
There was a chance back 15 years ago. The Eagles, I think, choked on that chance, and that's when the Steelers went.
Yeah.
The Steelers are looking good. The Eagles play the Steelers in 2 weeks, so I hope they lose anyway, obviously, but the Eagles will definitely win.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be, I think, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Well, you got to go to that game.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to the Eagles-Steelers game, but the wife and I are going for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we'll definitely see.
I like that. I like that. A little
I'm
PA
going
bowl.
with that. Yeah, a little PA bowl. Man, PA is going to sell out of everything they got. It's either side of the state, so we'd split down the middle.
Yeah, that's right.
The Bills do look good. And I do not want to see the Chiefs again. Not at all.
I think outside of being a Chiefs fan, I think most people don't want to see the Chiefs.
Yeah, unless they're a bandwagon. All right, David, the last question for you is, how did you come up with MAKO IT, man?
Oh, yeah, thank you. So I got 2 young daughters, and both girls are obsessed with the Mako shark. And so there's a theme of speed and agility with the Mako shark. They have bursts of up to 46 miles per hour. This is the fastest shark in the ocean. Not the fastest fish, but the fastest shark. And MAKO, if you pronounce it that way, which is the way I pronounce it, in Japanese, the translation means sincere and genuine. So put those words together. Speed, agility, sincere, and genuine IT consulting. That's kind of how we came up with the name.
I like it. I always like to know the story behind the name and we created it.
For sure.
Those are always like, you wouldn't think of that. Like, oh, there's a reason behind it.
Yeah, it means something.
Yeah, and it's more meaningful when you tell people about it. It's not some thing you just let ChatGPT come up with. Hey, this is great. I'm going with that.
ChatGPT just taking over the world.
Yeah.
Guys.
Only if the information was 100% correct.
Yeah.
All right, David, I got to wrap up. Thank you so much, brother.
Good
Appreciate
to see you.
it. Yeah, you as well. All right, everybody, this has been Myer Media. I was your host, John Myer. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notify because we're out of here.